So I had a few dreams I remember. They were kind of short though. And they're very random, but there was one dream I remember I'm at a store and I think I'm with my wife or girlfriend, and it's like a weird dream, like very short, like a very regular dream. I guess realistic. We're standing in line and we have some groceries, and for some reason this line is taking like way too long, and it's like a really long lineup, and there's just people with shopping carts and baskets of stuff. And so we're waiting for like feels like an hour or something, and I realize like we have stuff in the cart or basket or whatever. We have like these vegetables and refrigerated foods, and I think at one point like I want to leave the line. I'm like, let's just forget it, and she doesn't want to leave. She's like, we need to buy these things or something like that. So like I'm kind of pissed off, and after waiting a while, I start grabbing the refrigerated items. I think at one point there's like a cucumber, lettuce, something like a frozen item. Maybe it's like a frozen dinner or ice cream even. And I basically just take them out and I start putting them off to the side. Like I'm not gonna buy stuff that's gonna be going bad because we've been waiting in this line for so long. And I literally think that's like all there was to the stream. It was just some dumb shopping mall, or rather like a supermarket, and we're shopping, like food shopping or doing whatever. And that was it. Like that was one short dream. Actually, oh, I just remembered a part of that where I think after standing in line for a while, we get to like the basic. It's like a. It looked weird because it's not even like a cashier. It's like a counter with a window, and that's where you pay or something. So the worker of the store, wherever is there, and it's like some lady. She's like the cashier, and I think we're finally like buying our items. And for some reason, I wanted to buy snake plants, and they're I think they're all sold out or something. Either they're sold out or it's expensive. Because I remember in the dream, I'm like, "Oh well, if you guys don't have it, I'll just go buy it from IKEA." And I'm like, "Yeah, they have snake plants at IKEA." And then somebody to my right says, so my partner is standing on my left, and then it's me, and then some guy, I guess he's like next in line, is standing on my right side, and he just says out loud like, "Oh, I wish we had snake plants." And I look over to him, and I'm like, "Oh, you work at IKEA?" And like he's standing there wearing like the yellow outfit that the IKEA employees wear. And I'm like, it's so random, but it's like I'm like, oh, he's shopping basically there at the same store as us. And so I'm like, yeah, I know IKEA does have. I'm like, IKEA does have snake plants. And suddenly we just get into a conversation, and the lady who's at actually like the cashier or whatever who's working at the store, this the IKEA guy goes behind the counter and joins her, and suddenly it's like she's training him how to work at this new store, even though he's an IKEA employee. So it's like he's suddenly abandoned his own job, or he's like leaving his IKEA job to be trained by this lady at the counter of this other like supermarket store or whatever. Like such a weird random dream. And that was it. That's all I remember. I think I'm just kind of like arguing with them about the snake plant and how IKEA has it and it's even cheaper there. And so even though I didn't have a snake plant with me or whatever, I don't know. It's just for whatever reason snake plants came up. So that's it for that dream, which was very weird and short. And another dream I remember, I'm so I was heading home after being somewhere. I think it might have been at work or something. And it's like it's late though, so I go and I'm trying to drive home, and the streets look completely different. The buildings and houses look different. But basically, I pull into this little like complex, and for some weird reason, instead of driving to my house and parking in the driveway, I've gone to like some random side street because it was closer or something like that, which is so weird. It's like an open parking lot, and it's empty. There's no cars there, so I park my car in this weird little parking lot, and I'm basically going to walk to the house for some reason because again, it didn't even make sense like at all. But in my mind, it's like I'm thinking because maybe the parking spots were taken, like there's no room in my driveway or something, or like somehow in my dream I was basically justifying like to myself, like this is gonna be faster. Like the logic, it made no sense, but I guess in my mind the logic is like it's gonna be faster somehow. So the stupid thing is I park the car, I get out, and I'm gonna walk home, and I know it's gonna take about 10 minutes to walk home. And I think at one point I even have my phone and I have to do Google Maps to see how I walk home because I'm not too sure from this parking spot. And so I've also the weird thing is in the dream I lock the car and I start walking to my house, and I have the steering wheel in my hand. So my car's steering wheel is removable, and it's to prevent somebody from stealing my car. Like I think it was an SUV. It was like it was like a some dark colored blue or black SUV. So I'm just walking with the steering wheel in my hand, and at one point I accidentally press like the automatic starter, but it wasn't on the key fob. It was actually on the steering wheel. So somehow I accidentally started my car by pressing a button on my steering wheel, and I can hear it from a distance. But anyways, the funny part was here that I leave the car and I start walking around these little short streets, like these narrow random streets, and there's houses all around me and short apartment buildings, like those 3-story buildings. And so after walking for about like 10 minutes, and I'm making lefts and rights, like I'm just like turning from street to street, I'm walking casually. And obviously the whole thing, like in the dream I've been walking for like 10-15 minutes, but in reality it feels like just 2 seconds. Like I remember it wasn't that long at all, but I know I've been walking for a while. So I turned a corner and I walk and I realize I'm right next to my car again. I basically went around in a circle. And I realized in the dream, I realized that I had done this before and I had made the same mistake because I could have taken a shortcut. And the weird part is it's all open. Like it was basically the small parking lot, and then it was open sidewalk area. Like you could just cross the parking lot and go over to the other side where I needed to be. But instead of doing that, I had accidentally gone like the opposite direction. So I went around. So I walked like an extra 10 minutes for no reason. And in the dream, I remember I literally throw my hands up in the air and I look up to the sky and I'm like, oh my God, I did it again. What an idiot. Like I had basically made the same mistake previously in my whatever, like a previous time. And that was it. That was the whole dream, which is so stupid. But I basically had parked the car and taken like some wrong turns and wasted time. And then another part of the dream I remember, like a different dream I had, was I'm at a comedy show. So I remember this clearly. Okay, so I was at a comedy show, like in a small kind of like those comedy shows that are small, like it's like a small venue, like maybe like 50 seats or something like that. And it was like a like a nightclub maybe or something. And the comedian I'm there to see is Jeff Arcuri. And so he's doing a skit, like as he's doing his show, he's doing his little, his comedy skit show thing, and he's interacting with the audience. And I think I'm there with someone, but I don't know who. It might be my partner or girlfriend or wife or whatever. I don't think I actually see them. I might be alone. But anyways, we're sitting there watching the show, and he's saying people are laughing, he's making a bunch of jokes and stuff. And then so then he makes like some weird jokes. I think he makes some like gay sex jokes or something, but he's a comedian, he's just teasing, he's joking, and he says something to a guy in the audience. And then the guy I think the guy says something about like I think Jeff okay, so Jeff Arcuri makes some I think he makes like a dick sucking joke or something. So somebody in the audience like does something funny, just kind of like, just to play along. I think he maybe like points down at his crotch or unzips his pants. I think that's what he just unzips his zipper. Nobody sees it. Like we kind of hear it. And it says a joke though, and Jeff Arcuri starts laughing because he's like, oh, like because this audience member is playing along, and Jeff Arcuri is like laughing now really hard on stage because I think he starts like pulling his shirt up and he's gonna pretend like let's get it on type of thing, and everyone's laughing, and Jeff Arcuri does that laugh like his real life, like his silly laugh he does in real life, like the way he laughs, which kind of sounds funny, and then it gets a little weird because then he takes the joke too far, and he's fully dressed now, but he turns around and he's unzipped his pants. And no, that's not what it is. I think he actually takes his clothes off, but his back is to the audience. So we're all watching this and it's live. Like we're pretty close to him, and he's stripped down now. It's like it's part of his joke though. It's part of his act, and he's looking at everybody but naked, and everyone's kind of surprised, but they're still kind of laughing because it's part of the show. And when he turns around though, he's tucked his penis between his legs, so it's like hidden, right? Like he's tucked it in completely, so as if he looks like a girl. And I think that was the joke, like he was pretending like I'm a girl, I don't have a penis or something. But then he suddenly just kind of like spreads his legs and he makes his penis pop out, and it's like massive. And for some reason, he's got an erection, and everybody starts laughing. Like everyone's like laughing at that quick act or joke or whatever. But then suddenly the whole atmosphere of the room changes, like almost instantly. Like everyone's suddenly like uncomfortable and awkward, and they're wondering like why he's naked, like butt naked, and like the joke doesn't even really make sense. And so he's standing there with like a pretty big schlong and it's fully erect. And he starts making a joke, and now everybody is uncomfortable. There's men, it's like mixed audience. We're all adults, but there's like men and women. So now the women are getting uncomfortable and they're like, this is kind of awkward. This is like, why is he still naked? Like, it just turned very weird. And now instead of us sitting in the audience and watching him, we're actually like in a smaller, like we're in a room, but we're standing around and it's like people are interacting and talking and he's kind of the center of attention. And I think some random lady makes a comment or like she's visibly like very uncomfortable. And I think she even confronts him like, okay, like this is ridiculous. What kind of act is this? This is not appropriate. And like, why are you doing this? And then at this point, like Jeff Arcuri is kind of trying to justify it. It's weird. He's like, we're all just there and we're still the audience members, but it's like he suddenly makes this presentation where he's trying to like justify his comedy act by he's giving some random analogies and like, oh, it's so weird. He's like, oh, just because somebody's scared of a spider, what's the example? Okay, so in the dream he literally like makes this weird spider example analogy. He's like, this is part of my act, like, and I think he's referring to like because he showed nudity. I guess that's what it was. It's like he's shown nudity to the audience, and like people should have known ahead of time. Like it's just a comedy show. Like why are you? He's kind of surprised that everyone's pissed, but we're surprised that he did this. And I'm just there too, like with the audience. We're just kind of like standing there, like I'm not really complaining, but it's like it's definitely awkward, and I feel like the weird tension in the air. And so then he's trying to explain, and it's funny because he gives this example. He's basically saying like, if you're scared, he says something like, if people are scared of spiders, you don't tell the spider to just stay in one area and not go anywhere else because you're scared of a spider. Like a spider has free roam. The spiders are going to go everywhere. You can't just, tell the spider not to do it, like not to exist or not to move somewhere. Like it's so weird. He's just giving this weird, he's giving this weird analogy of spiders to this lady to justify the nudity in his act. And I think some of us like don't really care because again, it was a comedy skit and act. It was just this weird tension though, and he's in the whole time that he's walking around and talking to us in this room, like while he's trying to justify his act, he's still completely butt naked, and he's proud of himself. He's proud of himself, and I think he was kind of proud of his like penis size too because it was pretty big and like thick, not long, but it was just very thick, and he was like kind of like happy about it and smiling, and I think at one point maybe his wife is there as well. But again, everyone's like, it's just a part of the act. It was just a comedy skit, and that's how the dream just ended with him. Again, he's just walking around this room and like trying to justify the whole joke thing, and that was it. That was the dream, which was very weird. And then another part of the dream I had. This was a different dream I had. I remember this too. I was at like a party or family gathering. I think it's a family gathering of just it's like relatives, like cousins. There's aunts and uncles and cousins, and in the dream, though, the weird part was I had a wife, but it wasn't my actual wife. So my wife was one of my wife's friends. She was this short. She was like this short, skinny, black-haired lady, and she had curled her hair very nicely. Yeah, I think it was one of her friends, like one of her old high school friends that she'd known for a long time. But it was just my wife in the dream. Like it wasn't like it's just that's who it was. But it's weird because I think at one point I even realized in the dream that it's not supposed to be her. But it's weird because it's not like it's I'm not it's not like I'm cheating or anything. I'm actually married to this woman, and like she's just my wife in the dream. And so she had done up her like hair and makeup really nice, and I think I made a compliment, like I'm complimenting her, and I'm like, oh, let me take some pictures. So I take my phone out, and there's relatives around there, and I think my mom is there. There's some cats there, some children playing with the cats and toys. I think we're in like a kids room, like one of my cousins or one of my kids. I don't think I had kids in the dream though. I'm not sure. I just remember there being a lot of people and cats. I remember there was cats in this room. And so my wife is sitting in a chair and she's kind of like doing this pose. Like while she's sitting in the chair, she's just like looking at the camera and I'm trying to take pictures of her. And I think at one point somebody else, like a family member, offers to take pictures of her or of us. And I think at one point I mentioned something about I think she needed to get a new passport or something. I say something to her about, oh, did you take pictures for the passport renewal and or something like that? And she's like, yeah, I took the pictures, but I didn't get a chance to do it. Like I had already taken it before because I think I wanted her to take the pictures for her passport the way she looked now. Like she looked really nice, like really hot and pretty with the hair and makeup done. and she had black long. I remember she had long black wavy hair, like curly wavy hair, and I remember she had like this was unrealistic too, but she had like much larger breasts, but like normal though, like it was like proportionate to her body. But I remember she just looked really good physically, but it wasn't my actual wife. It was like somebody else. And it's weird because in the dream I knew it was somebody else, and it's like it made no sense. Like it's like as if I felt bad that it wasn't my real wife in the dream though, but it was also normal at the same time. And that was it. That was like the short little dream sequence I had. And that's all I remember from that dream. And then I do remember I had some random dreams, like haze. These are like very hazy. I must have had them earlier in the night because I know generally you have multiple dreams in different order, but these ones are way too hazy. I think one of them was kind of disturbing though. I don't remember it fully, but stupid Epstein. I think it had to do with some Epstein shit. So I think I don't remember details, but I think it was Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together. I think I'm not even that sure, but it was really disturbing because there was new evidence. I think it had to do with the Epstein files, and I think there was new evidence of like stuff that Donald Trump had done. Oh, okay, I just remembered it. Okay, I think there was like new files that had been released, but they were like pictures and videos. I think it was Donald Trump. But I think Epstein wasn't. So I think there were pictures and videos of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together. And I think the really fucked up, disturbing part was that he was raping somebody. And I think it was like a young girl. Like it was just really nasty. It was like, I think it was pictures. I don't think it was a video. I think there were pictures that had been released. And I think I was even showing someone. I'm like, oh, so it is true. Like, look, the evidence is finally out. And I think it was like pictures of, I think it was pictures of Donald Trump raping like almost like a baby or something, or like a very young girl. So I think it was a female, and it was very like I didn't see it though. Like I know in the dream that I was showing other people. No, I think it was just one person. I was showing like somebody like a girlfriend or a wife type situation. I think it was me and somebody else, and I'm just showing them this, or I was basically proving it. And I'm like, I know it was I know it was Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure it was Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together, and it was like news that had just come out. Like this was like fresh news. They had, I guess, what do you call it, unredacted some files or something, or somebody had somehow managed to get a hold of these pictures. And this person I'm showing them to was shocked and disgusted. And they're like, no, there's no way he would do that or something. I'm like, dude, like it's out there. This is proof. This is evidence. Like the pictures are out. Like he did do it. He was like Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were raping girls together or something like that. That's all I remember too. It was very hazy, but that's like a short little part of the dream, whatever the dream was. But that was like part of that I remember, which was very nasty and disturbing. And then I think that's it. I think that's all I remember from my dreams.